Well, might have got away from the rain for a little bit. Hard to say. But the idea is all this ground here has to be dug up and put right back in its exact place. Just trying to find big logs, stuff like that. Because I plan to probably build a wooden floor garage here. So I need to get gravel hauled in. But I just want to make sure there's no stumps under here. You can see I've been digging them out there, right here, right where I'm standing. So right there, still never filled in that one, but I think it will just be better to do that. So also did all this area here. Stuff's starting to grow back in here pretty quick. But for now, I gotta move some of this stuff out of here. Yes, the grass needs to be mowed, I know, but I put down a bunch of grass seeds, so don't really want to do that right now. This area here, I'm probably going to put a bench there. I'm not too sure. Ooh, camera glitch. A lot more gravel there now, it looks like, but so I'll start by using the loader and probably moving stuff along in here. So, but I guess I should maybe cut some grass first, otherwise it'll be in the weeds, but I guess that doesn't matter too much. So the idea is this tree here is going to go, and all this stuff here I want out of here. The reason why is I actually want the bush to grow and fill in between here. Property marker is roughly right where that flag is, so I got a fair distance, and neighbor has been doing some mowing in there, but haul out this stuff. I'll probably leave a lot of this, so maybe that tree will come back to life. I think the Honda Odyssey is kind of crunching it, but we'll see. Guaranteed nothing underneath all that scrap metal tin. The idea to use that for skirting probably in the future, the skirt whatever I build. So I guess the dune buggy, I'm going to start by moving that first. I should be able to pick it up with these forks. As you guys can see, they're pretty bent the center there. I was pulling out stumps, but at the same time, if I keep them level and just keep those two in the ground, it should work great just to check for any hidden stumps. Well, would be a nice time for Logan to be here. I gotta push it in between that stuff, and doing it myself is a little bit tricky, because now I gotta put it down, go pick up the front, go move the front, but I gotta move all that out of there, so at least the loader has no problem lifting it. Even the front end lifts it up no problem. So well, this is a project that I want to get going real soon. But at the same time, I don't know when I'll get to it. So the only problem with lifting the front is I might bend those spring steel on the back there for the rear end, but I don't know, I'll see. Okay, note to self, do not fork the tires. Those tires are brand new. Okay. See, has no problem lifting it. A little creepy, crunchy doing that. So, okay. So I just go change the wheels the way they point a little bit more and go from there. Well, it may have taken a few minutes to be able to turn it around, but it worked. So those forks are so much better than trying to do it with the bucket. So, you know, I kind of wish they weren't bent so far down now, but I mean, it works fine still. You can see they're all bent everywhere. This one here is pretty loose. They just unbolt here, so I can unbolt them and use this plate to build a plow on it, whatever I want in the future. That's perfect there. I'm just looking here. I'll still have room once I move the diesel here to get stuff around here. I know it's just temporary. I'm putting it here. You guys can see this thing needs a ton of work, especially the brakes. As you can see, the brake system has that open, you could say. So it's going to need all new lines, all new brake cylinders. Some bastardizing has been done in the future. The transmission, I do got all the parts for that. Cannot move that right now. I got too much weight on it. So just gotta put the old tire here back underneath it, probably stick it up on some plywood, and go from there. I just noticed that's pretty bent up there. Huh. Yeah, it's probably not that bad. Watch out, it locks up all the time.
Okay.
Over there.
So we've got the bottom two rungs, or middle two rungs of those prongs are bent a little bit down from other projects. See how the middle two are bent down there. It's proving very efficient for what we're doing here, which is digging stumps out of the ground. This is going to be a build site.
Well, that's about 45 minutes work, so I just got to do a little bit better right here. Then I'm going to go side to side, and basically again all I'm doing is breaking apart the roots, making sure there's nothing big in there, and then all that's going back down. So then I'll have to move the bolins out of here and just pretty much trim just up to the front of the bolins right there, and that's pretty much it. A little bit extra work, but it's worthwhile doing just to verify there's no stumps in here. Well, that front pickle fork, or whatever you want to call it, hay bale lifter, getting pretty beat up. Look at that split there. You guys see that? Holy hey! But at the same time, believe it or not, I do not care one bit, because my idea always was to rip this all off and build some kind of plow. But basically I'm shoving it in the ground, turning it, pulling it straight up, ripping all the roots out of here. And again, the idea is just to break the roots the best I can, so that way nothing grows underneath this thing. So I stopped actually right here, so still went in there good. But the reason why I got off the tractor is this one here was pretty big. Took a fair bit to pop this one out of the ground. So you guys can see the kind of stuff coming out of here. That one's an old tree of some sort, ball. This is the same thing I originally did at the back garden site about 3 years ago. And of course the camera failed. So I guess I'll get back to you guys after. I still got to chew up underneath these piles here a bit better. All the dirt again is getting dumped back in. Small sticks I shouldn't even be removing, but I am just for the fun of it. I'm mostly looking for the big ass ones. Whoo-wee. Feels like plus 40 outside. That's Celsius. And a little toasty, a little sunburnt. But I'm gonna do a little bit more out here. The idea is to be able to get gravel next week. Lost one of my forks. It ripped right out. No idea when it just crashed, but I was just saying I just lost one of my forks. It's like plus 40 outside. Feels like plus 40, so a little sunburnt. Not too bad, but I guess I'll do a little bit more work on here. But the idea is to get some gravel hauled in hopefully next week, starting to level. That's all the roots that I pulled out so far. Again, little tiny roots don't matter. The only reason why I'm doing this is that one there I got to cut. It's probably going to that bush right there, so you can actually see some sticking out of the ground, but not too worried about it. I'm just looking for bigger stuff, but so far there's no big stumps, no nothing in here. I still got to do underneath this pile here, but pretty much everything's done up to this point. And again, not removing the dirt, I'm just shoving it under, lifting it up, breaking it up, and final leveling is going to be done after I get the gravel. So it's working pretty good, I guess. And I got about an hour and a half into this, so it's not too bad. Well, it's not the next morning. It's not plus 30 out anymore, or almost plus 40. But it's going to do a little bit more leveling here. Got a few more roots to pick up. And then I'll be putting a loader bucket on. And I got to do a few other things. Got to clean up all of this mess here. That center area there that's meant to be having for nice fires. I got to remove all that because we haven't used it. I'm going to modify this into a new burn barrel. Just for burning paper and junk that can be burnt that doesn't stink. So got lots of work to do, but idea is to move all this stuff here because we'll get a load probably at least, I'm guessing, 30 yards. I want to raise it up a good probably almost 8 inches here, so minimum. And I got to put some, of course, down in here and a few other places, but okay, back to work I go. Okay, so I just got this all chewed apart. Again, I'm not worried about leveling anything yet. Still got a bunch of random roots to pick up, but This is just after leveling all the bigger ones, and then even some smaller ones I pulled out of there, a couple of them. So mostly again looking for stumps. Now the idea now is this area here has always been a little bit lower than when I raised it up right there. That's the height that I want to go with, right in that zone right there. So I got to raise it up about 6 inches here. I could go pure gravel, but at the same time I'm going to put just more of this fill here, natural stuff you could say. This is going to stay lower here because I'm not too worried about it. The idea later is that'll just be, as you see it, storage. I will probably put gravel there. Random garbage, where did that come from? But the idea is I probably got about close to at least a figure 10 yards over here. This pile across here, I'd say that's minimum of 10 yards. So I'll start spreading this stuff out here. And yes, there's a lot of sticks and crap in it, but it'll work. Just mean I'll have to go through it a little bit, sift it, but it will work fine. So most of this is from when I leveled all this down, give a spot for the water to flow. But to do that properly, I actually have to continue dropping it down right in this area here. It's still too high right here. Okay, so I decided I'm going to knock it down right here because that's way lower. This is lower. Original idea was to let the water from here, which you can see it's still building up here, to flow down that way. But when I put this in, I put way too much fill here. So I'm going to move a bunch of it from there into this area. Again, I want everything to be the height of that, which you can't really see on camera, but where I'm pointing there versus everywhere else, this is probably close to 6 inches higher. I'm almost through this dam. Too much weight. That bucket is right full. I like that. Besides the fact that I can't get out. One wheel goes up there. That tire right there is probably going to pop by the time I'm done this. I'm almost sure of it, but whatever. If I break an axle or pop a tire, you could do it, you could do it. Oh, look at that, right over the hill. Gotta love the dualies. That's about a 1 foot hill I just went over. So you can see how I'm grinding it down in here. Still got a stump there to remove. The front tire there doesn't really look the happiest. But I've been moving a lot here. You can't really tell how much I brought out here, but oh, it's a lot because I already packed all that down nicely. It used to be a low spot there. Dualies do a nice job at packing down after, that's for sure. I try to keep some fresh sand for on top of everything here, but can't really see, but I'm almost at that height throughout the center there. So yeah, it's about plus 30 outside, but starting to get a little bit cloudy out, so it's kind of nice. You can see here the height that this used to be. Maybe you can't see it on camera, but this is down almost 8 inches lower, so that's not too bad. Okay, well, I'm gonna shut this off for now. Looks like this is where I'm stopping. It's starting to rain. Got one more bucket here. There's the last one right now. So that hill's about a foot and a half taller than anything else. So that's the final little hill here I'm trying to get rid of. Just spans around this area here, so it's pretty small. The other one's gone. Well, besides the stump right there. Yes, that's a stump right in that corner there. So this load here is a fairly heavy one, as in if I would get off the tractor, I bet you it would cause the back wheels to go off the ground. Yes, I'm very hard on the steering right now. This is where a rear weights would be nice, a weight bin, because it'd actually take a little bit less weight off the front wheels. But, you know, it's doing pretty good in this area. So I'm not worried about too much where I'm dumping any of this stuff. If I lift this too high, I'll probably start spinning in the rear wheels. Maybe not. That's a pretty good load. Well, again, like I said, starting to rain. I'm going to pack her up for today. So there we go. And sure enough, didn't get much done, but hey, whatever. I was actually having the idea of getting some gravel hauled in, but I'm kind of glad I'm doing it this way first. Because you still can't see the height difference. That's like almost a foot from there to there, so I will rake that up a little bit better later. But well, I never finished laying any or leveling anything out, but it's really hard to see how much it raised up by. But as an example, from if I put a straight line across here, I'm going to say I'm a good 4 inches higher here, pretty much at, I'd say, well, maybe more on that side. But again, this is just a base fill. I'm still going to be getting, well, I'd say minimum of 30 yards of gravel in here. So, yeah, no, it's not as thick here, but this is the ending. So you kind of see a little bit of an idea there. But so I only went from, of course, right about there across, so it's not too big of a deal. Still got actually a fair bit more to haul out here. Nothing's packed down yet. Mostly derooted. Still got a few little ones to pull out, but just go over here. Mosquitoes getting a little bad already. So I started scraping it down back here. This is originally where I was going to build it, but that has changed. I used to have a big ass hump right about there. And this one here is pretty shaved down now. A couple more little stumps I pulled out of here. So it's still a little bit, well, right there's, you could say, a lower spot, but it's still a little bit high right up in back there. So I'll go through this a little bit more next week, but you can see the idea is to drain the water down to here from the backyard when it rains. I can shave a little bit down off here, just about 6 inches over there. You can see from the old mark about right there to there, that's almost a foot that this has dropped down now. So again, I moved a bunch back up here when I put on this tarp shed. You can see there, it's a fairly decent little bit. I am leaving it a little bit higher up on that corner. So now instead of flooding right here, water should come down here and just kind of disappear down in this area. So I still got all that fill I might put down, but not too sure yet. Girlfriend started cleaning up this area because all this is being torn out next week. Again, I could technically build a shop there, but pretty sure that this one here is going to end up only being about size of one of these tent sheds. So probably about 12 by 24. Might end up being 16 by 20. I'm not too sure yet. It's just going to be a wooden shed, wooden floor. Gonna get some matting, lay it out across the bottom here, put the gravel on top. I don't know exactly if, pretty sure this stuff's only 12 feet. I don't know how much is left on that roll. No, it's a little bit longer than here, so that's 14 foot, so, but I don't know how much is left on that roll back there. Landscaping fabric, that's the big thick stuff to use on highways, you could say. Really thick. Keep anything from poking back. Logan's taking selfies. But Well, I guess that's it.